This is my world.
Let's make it count.
I must practice stories. Next, GSL Season 2. Renaissance. 2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 2. Codex Renaissance.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Final 8 here for the GSL Codex. Tasis joined with me as Artosis, and this is a war. The world, the viewers, some of the players against Protoss. Artosis.
Yeah, some of the players, not too many.
A battle of good and evil, good versus evil.
Well, I mean, we'll see how they do tonight, but we don't have any PvPs tonight. Only one PvP in the round of 8. We can fix that for the round of 4 for the finals. I'm looking forward to possibly that being the case. But we have some very nice, fun matches here for you tonight. Our first night of the round of 8 is going to be Classic versus soO and Trap versus Innovation. And of course, on Saturday, we'll be having Hurricane Parting and Hero Dark. But I would say out of the 2 round of 8 days, this one.
Dude, this is going to be fun. This is going to be, it's a tough one to call. It's tough, you know, if it wasn't so Protoss dominant, it'd be tough to even know who to root for if you just saw these two together.
Are you saying that makes it easy to know who to root for?
Maybe. Now, Classic has been the most dominant player in recent StarCraft 2. I'd say for 2019, especially here in Korea, but overseas, well, he's been doing fine. And then he's going up against soO, who might have been the most dominant player in GSL ever as far as getting second place so many times.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been to more finals than Maru, right?
It's crazy, right? I mean, I know we've had great players like MVP, and yeah, Maru was really impressive, but soO's had a long history here, so this is going to be a crazy match.
Only Innovation's on his level for number of finals appearances.
Yeah.
Who, of course, is playing tonight as well. But, yeah, soO versus Classic, like, these guys, they are old teammates. A little bit of rivals. It's not like as much as, like, a Dark Classic type of thing, where those two only knock each other out of tournaments, and thus will probably be our finals. But it should be fun.
We got a quick video, and then we're going to start our matches.
망했다. 결승에서 만났어야 됐는데 그 생각이 먼저 들고 최근에 윤수랑 연습도 많이 했고 까다로운 것 같아요.
그래 저를 인정한다고요? 연습하면은 거의 다 지는데? 그냥 겸손인가?
이 레전드 장면이 저한테 지고 나온 거거든요. 제가 만들어줬기 때문에 좀 뜻깊어가지고 그렸고, 정말 이 표정은 연기자가 따라 하려고 해도 못 따라 할 것 같이 표정이 너무 완벽한 표정이어가지고 너무 기억에 남네요.
이건 본인이 만들어준 시그니처라고.
열받네. 도호 형은 워낙 그리기 쉬워가지고 굉장히 쉽게 그릴 수 있었고요. 이 정도면은 저는 되게 미화시켰다고 생각해요. 도호 형이 지금 자고 있는 사진이고요. 군대에 가 있어요. 꿈꾸고 있어요, 자기가 우승하는 꿈. 근데 현실은 청소하러 가야 돼요. 끝입니다.
번식지의 어윤수? 번식지에서의 어윤수의 공격력이 너무 강해가지고 초중반 타이밍을 어떻게 버티느냐가 중요할 것 같고,
운영도 되게 잘하는데 종빨기도 또 잘 써요. 그러니까 원희삭 같은 경우에는 종빨기만 잘 쓰는데 도호 형은 종빨기도 잘 쓰는데 약간 김대엽 같은 그런 탄탄함도 있고, 종빨기만 막자라는 생각으로 하면은 질 수 있기 때문에 좀 저도 생각을 좀 많이 해서 빌드 싸움을 잘 이겨야 될 것 같아요.
블락만 가면 이제 어락기 뜨고 하면 별거 아니어서 최근에도 응원기 나왔거든요. 아니 무난히 버티기만 하면 이길 것 같아요.
응원기 어락기가 응원기가
이제 타락기 그 키 빼놓으려고요. 첫 경기에 제가 딱 잡고 시작하면은 도호 형이 좀 많이 흔들릴 것 같아요.
최근 슈퍼 토너먼트 4강 결승에서 다 역습이었잖아.
그랬나?
페페슨 선수가
그럼 약점이 아닌가 보다. 그 약점 고쳤네. 제가 생각한 약점이었거든요. 약점을 고쳤네. 뭐야, 약점이 없는데요? 제가 약점은 그거였는데. 제가 경무청에 신고하려고요. 여기 비리 있다고.
저 지금 원소서 그리는 그림은 선수 소개할 때
네, 갑자기
선병이 왔어.
네, 끌고 가기.
사실 윤수가 월챔 우승도 했고 그래서 스토어에서 16강에서 제가 이겼거든요. 그래서 뭐 타격이 없을 줄 알았는데 되게 삐져 있더라고요. 지고 나서. 그래서 뭐 이번에도 혹시 지고 나서 좀 안 삐졌으면 좋겠네요.
아니, 이거 사연이 있어요. 예전에 제가 4강에 4대0으로 이긴 적이 있어요. 제가 그 경기 하기 전에 도호 형, 우리 누가 이기던 4강 끝나고 어제 같이 밥 먹자 이렇게 말을 했거든요. 자기가 먼저 도망가는 거예요. 먼저 가버린 거예요. 삐져가지고. 그때부터 좀 의상하긴 했거든요. 근데 그걸 자기가 먼저 가가지고 저도 간 건데 그걸 그렇게 말하니까 좀 그렇네요. 도호 형이 그 IM 결승 간 거 보면서 저도 자극을 많이 받았거든요. 도호 형한테. 그만큼 서로한테 윈윈이 좀 되는 것 같은데 이번에 제가 딱 이기고 또 자극 받아가지고 다음에 또 열심히 했으면 좋겠네요.
Round of 8.
Okay, we're going to be hopping into these matches very soon. Again, this has been very Protoss dominant GSL, but that could change after today.
Yeah, it really could. Imagine if we have a CVT in the next round. I think it's a long shot, but we'll see. Classic versus soO. That was a wonderful thing seeing them kind of banter together there.
Yeah. As you can see, this is a fight for WCS ranking points here. Number 1 Classic, number 2 soO.
Yeah. Both of them looking pretty set towards BlizzCon. Of course, soO winning the IM. Katowice, big deal for him. Now, can he take down Classic? Classic seems to be the best Protoss in the world right now. I really like how soO said it. He's good at using the racial advantage, which is called. This is the nice way to say he's good at abusing Protoss.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's very solid as well. He's he can kind of do everything. He's good at everything. I love that he just poked at Parting for no reason there. He's like, for instance, Parting is only good at abusing his race. Classic's good at everything. Oh, it's so funny. soO is a funny guy.
Now, although soO is obviously a terrifying player to play against, he hasn't been as strong as of late. There's a period where soO was almost the centerpiece of all GSL.
Yeah.
How far does he get? Can he actually overcome his curse here in GSL, always getting second? I think right now Classic is the hottest player in Korea.
Yeah, for sure. It can't be Maru because Maru lost so early.
He's gone, yeah.
It's interesting as well that you kind of have the impression that soO is doing not as well when he finally won a big tournament, right? Yeah,
I mean
GSL
for GSL.
performance,
I'm
though,
talking GSL here.
Well, this is his chance to turn that right around.
And right now,
Round of
Classic
4?
is dominating GSL. No, I see what you're saying. But let's see if he can overcome Classic right now, who's been killing it in our tournaments. Classic versus soO starts now on King's Cove.
Makers Classic. Chivo, soO.
By the way, that picture he drew of Classic was great. And the fact that he says he was sleeping, but he had headphones on while he was in the military sleeping, I'm really confused about that part. Anyways, excited to see what these guys are going to do. The first map being King's Cove, I think is actually, that's the most interesting map to start it on because it's kind of easy to defend everything here.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely ways that you can get aggressive. Like there's some interesting Nidus plays that you can do. But for instance, an Immortal push, you have to go up ramps, right? Makes it a lot harder. In the mid game, the fourth base, it's super wide open. So it makes it harder to actually kill someone there. We normally get long games.
From Pittsburgh, welcome.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one where I think you're right. Third base could be a little bit safer. It's in a just a safer spot. This tends to reward, I think, a little bit more of the defensive play here.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, if we're going to see, I think it's a decent map for a Stargate opener. You know, Immortal openers are all the rage, but I don't see that necessarily doing that well. I mean, you can always open Twilight if you want, but that is 99% of the time an all-in, right? So
yeah.
Unless it's, you know, a DT drop based off the Twilight, I guess. Yeah, let's see what Classic has up his sleeve here, because I think soO can play a pretty regular game here and get into that late mid-game pretty cleanly. But yeah, the Stargate comes up. I'm not surprised to see that for this map.
By the way, you know, to what we were talking about before the show, you know, with Classic being dominant in GSLs, especially lately, and then soO just winning an IEM. Different tournaments here, right? There's so much prep time you get coming into a match like this, and that's what makes me a little bit worried here for soO. Whenever you see somebody win any of those marathon tournaments, first of all, that's incredible, right? I mean, the sheer stamina it takes to power through that and still come out on top when you're just standing on top of bodies of the other dead pros. Everybody who entered into that tournament, a very different beast than, you know, weekly or bi-weekly coming into an event with just one opponent, a series of maps that you can plan for, and being able to research them and get their play styles. And it seems like, especially Classic, almost more than anybody else, and we saw Stats do this a little bit in the past, and even though we saw Mario do it over and over, it seemed like he was just good no matter what. It almost didn't seem like it was as much of a prepping thing as it was. He was like way ahead of the curve with Terran. I'm wondering what soO's going to do here, because Classic is so good at the prep work.
It's very true. I think he might be just about the best of that. Oh, okay. So I was going to comment that I was wondering if he could make an uglier, worse wall when he put up that second pylon, but looks like he just wants to fully wall. That's kind of like a Abyssal Reef wall in right there. But yeah, it is an interesting thing, because I think for sure good Protoss players, for instance, Classic, as you say, so good at prepping. We saw the builds that he used against like Dark, for instance, in the round of 4 last season.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Crazy.
Like, he had that one triangle on the map that didn't get scouted by Overlords, and that's where everything was.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, no, you really did your homework. You really did this
Hidden
well.
on a hill, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Kind of, it's funny, these spots where they'll hide it in plain sight, but it's like, yeah, the worker won't go there.
He knows the one place.
Overlord won't go there.
Yeah, so the prep, I mean, it's interesting because people are coming up with different ideas. Like, is the prep really good for Terran? Well, maybe with aggressive plays. I think prep is good for aggressive plays, generally speaking. You know?
You think so?
Yeah, because you come in with these very sharp builds where it's like, oh, they're going to miss this one thing with regular play, and I'm going to kill them for it.
Okay, so you think it's more like you try to do the research and then come in with the timing?
Yes.
And try to disarm them? I guess PVZ specifically,
it seems
that you're
to
saying
be,
that.
I think, in every matchup, actually.
Really?
I think that's where a lot of the power lies in prep time, whether it's a Terran with a really great 2-base all-in or a Protoss with a nice Immortal push or whatever the hell it is. That's what I'm starting to really think about.
I was always wondering if it could be the other way around, where it's like you could actually prep to try to be ready for anything they might do. Hold on a sec, we got the Oracles coming in. Now this is 3 Oracles at once. By the way, Glaives is being upgraded, so there's going to be a follow-up after this attack as his Hydra Den finishes, but doesn't look like he's going to come in and try to kill any workers just yet. He scouts the Hydra Den, sees that, and okay, here I believe we're actually going to see him pounce in and start to get some kills.
Yeah, and that was pretty good overall. He's getting a good amount of drones right now. The Queen's a little bit out of position for this to start. Wow, that's a lot of workers. 12 workers for an Oracle is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it looks like that attack's going to come out. I want to talk more about this idea we were bringing up before this attack, but I think the second part of the attack we're going to focus on instead.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have the Adepts coming across the map. shading south.
Yeah, they could do pretty well, I think, against these Hydras coming in. Look at this now. The Oracle's actually diving on top of a Hydros there, not getting too much damage overall. But what he's fighting against, I mean, there's no Banelings or anything, so these Adepts definitely have a lot of potential.
Okay. The Adepts separated right now from the Stargate units. They're going to shade in, and it appears they're going to be going up the ramp now. Looks like they will target down one Queen before finishing that shade over here. And there's really nothing to defend right now. The last Hydra is picked off. Workers scrambling to get away, and even a little bit of a bottleneck position over there at the ramp. The Adepts continue to do damage, and I think the second shade, in fact, I think there's a third group of Adepts that are going to come in here at the third base.
Yeah.
The second group, excuse me.
This is looking like a dead Zerg to me right now.
Yeah, I think Classic just straight up killed him.
Yeah. soO, I mean, I like that he was trying to go to Hydras, but against mass Adepts, it can be a little bit tough to defend.
Yeah.
You know, they can rail down the Hydras very quickly. Roaches are going to fight against them a bit better. Even Banelings could have been useful here, but...
And this is just a really good example of a timing attack that comes in here and basically punches a Zerg in the throat before you're really able to do much of anything.
Yeah.
And now it's 45 workers, 45 probes to 22 drones.
It's so much damage. It's so much damage.
And with the Immortals coming in, the Robotech is kicked in. I really like this attack here from Classic. This is so cool.
Yeah.
You basically take the scraps of your rush and then use that to cook up a finishing blow here if you've done enough damage with the harass.
He's got a lot of sentries, man.
Yeah, and he could dice up the remainder of the army however he wants.
You think those 9 Hydras can hold this off?
Call it a hunch, but I'd say no.
Yeah.
He's probably just going to go into the natural, I think.
I think you just walk up into the third and kill everything.
I'm actually surprised we're even seeing this split. Oh, okay. He's not going to let that finish.
You have to pull away from this space.
Yeah.
I think he might just GG. Like, there's just
I don't know if there's much of a future for the Zerg in this game.
The only thing he can do is try to get lucky with some Banelings here, which he is morphing. There's those Banelings. They're stuck, though. Force fields are good against Banelings, I heard.
This is really brutal, man. Classic just crushing through. Again, Classic coming with more of the long-term prep we talked about. I think it's going to be probably a bigger theme here in general with these two. Classic comes in. He kills the 12 drones with the Oracles. He was actually very patient with where he hit, by the way. If you notice, there was a rotation in orbit around the bases. He went from the second to the main to the third. He didn't pull the trigger. A lot of times we'll see them come into the first base with 3 or 4 Oracles and start spraying everything down. Instead, he waits. He says, you'll probably be least defended here. Comes and kills those. Then the Adepts come in. I think the damage had already been done. It was another rocking blow. And then he comes in with a killing blow.
Yeah, it was a very strong build there. And soO had the wrong build to fight against it as
frankly,
well.
Classic finished that game off like he was finishing hunting an animal. Like it was laying on the side, on its side, barely breathing, and he went in and cut its throat.
He turned the gun sideways for the kill shot, is what he did.
Okay, game 2 is ready on Kairos Junction. Classic for soO continues on.
Makers Classic. Chivo soO.
So, we were talking about this before that timing attack really kicked in, and then there was nothing but play-by-play to talk about. But you were saying you feel like prep tends to favor timing attacks, which I think is really interesting. I think you might be right about that. I think I'm so used to. Oh, hold on, that is a cool sign. Ooh,
that's funny. Look,
because sorry, I was just going to say that I think a lot of times you would expect someone who had a lot of time to prep, historically, in the way we think about RTSs, would win in a longer game. You'd be able to stop all the cheeses and kind of have an idea of what they're going to do.
I think that, I don't think that's truly the case, though. I think so. I mean, I think about this a lot. What prep is actually doing for people, and it, in my opinion, especially in StarCraft 2. Okay, I think StarCraft 2 is unlike a lot of other RTS games, including Brood War, in the fact that the counters are all harder in StarCraft 2. They all hit harder. Like the Immortal
things snowball pretty fast.
The Immortal beats armored units harder than anything beats anything in StarCraft 1 or other RTS games for the most part. I'm not going to speak in
I'm trying to think of something
terms,
in Warcraft 3,
but you know, the counters are very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
Like how badly Banelings can kill something, how badly Immortals can kill something. You know, that type of thing when you think about it, right? So if you come in with some of these sharp, aggressive plays, like what we just saw there, right? Now, if soO played against that build a bunch of times, if that was just normal in the meta, and Classic was coming in saying, I'm just going to do the builds that are good, the normal builds, and soO practices against that regularly, yeah, maybe he just holds that. He already has the roaches out. You know, he knows what to scout for and everything. But when you're just bringing, like, is that a build that we've seen this season or last season? No, it's not. That is a different build. That is slightly different, and it just bulldozed through soO, who could not have possibly been ready because he can't read minds. He doesn't know what Classic's going to bring.
Actually, that's a really okay. I really like what you're saying here because StarCraft 1, things kind of just move slower, even though it's still a very fast game. Fights happen a little bit more slowly. Takes a while for the game to pick up. You start with 4 workers.
None of the units really counter each other as hard as in here. Whereas the Adepts run into what soO had, and it's like, oh, get out of here.
Yeah, and I guess once the damage, because fights by nature in StarCraft 2 moves or happen so quickly, and you're controlling so many units at once. I guess once you start to get the edge, things start to pop off pretty quickly. And yeah, maybe you're right about that. Maybe that's an interesting way to put it. I'm sure it's not a universal, but it seems like it could be a general idea of preparation. But I wonder how much that is matchup specific as well. You know, there's certain matchups. I mean, for instance, Zerg, unless they immediately do something and try to change the trajectory of a game early on to do an attack, it seems like Zerg is generally the one that is trying to defend and hold off in the right way so that they can still develop and grow.
I think theoretically Zerg is the strongest in late games. I don't think it always works out like that, but I think theoretically, and also their all-ins kind of are weak in comparison to the all-ins of the other races.
Well, I guess the thing about their all-ins is that they can't recuperate from them anywhere near as much.
And all their units are kind of short range and
because some of their all-ins are actually, I think, quite strong. But, well, I guess, you know, in comparison to some other things.
Now, I do want to mention this build, right? Now, that's a fake right there, those 2 gases. This is basically Goblin's build from WCS that we're seeing here from Classic. Charge Immortal all in. He's got almost no gas. Will he cancel these? No, he's just going to let him finish. Okay.
I think you leave him there to...
He has, like, no sentries here.
Right.
This should just be charge lots and some Immortals. And that's going to go very well against something like Roaches. You have to be very careful how you engage something like this. Whereas, for instance, Goblin did a build similar to this. He did a couple builds like this at WCS, and like in one of the games, Raynor just smashed him with Lingbane.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have force fields. Okay,
Die!
Get out of here. But if you don't have that splash damage to work against the Zealots, it becomes very difficult.
By the way, just a little subtle thing we saw there. You know, letting those 2 gases finish when you don't need the gases at all. He made those at the start there to make it look misleading, right? And even though the Overlord was about to be killed off, he let that. We're seeing it. We're actually being shown that right now. You just let it finish anyways, just because it might make them second guess. And even just that one building, letting that finish and making them second guess, and they might not have enough, is worth it. Especially in the nature of what this build is, which is to basically break their jaw right when the rush starts.
Oh yeah. And you know what? He actually is mining a little bit of extra gas. We saw him make a sentry. I think it's smart to get a sentry with this build so that you have a Guardian Shield, because it just one Guardian Shield is absurdly strong. So smart plays there. Lots of roaches being made, but you have to be careful how you engage this, right? Charge Zealots one-on-one against roaches. That's a fine fight for the charge lot, and then you have the Immortals in there as well and the Guardian Shield. This is going to be hard to hold on.
Yeah. Very different rush, but a lot of the same ideas going on here in that we don't The Protoss does not want to let Zerg get into any kind of late game here. One of those Ravager Biles does connect with the Immortals. Now the splitting here is actually going to keep the Immortals really safe in the back. You can see that soO is continuing to try to kite out one of those groups up at the top, a little bit further away. Note the position of the Warp Prism as well. Is that going to be in range of the Biles? If he can gun down the Warp Prism, he might be able to curb the rush.
soO is doing a fantastic job against this. Wow, like there's just about nothing left here. Just the Immortals.
Oh my God,
look at that really strong hold.
And there's no way that he can plant that and try to warp in more. Really well done there by soO. Okay.
Yeah, so
and, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's a little bit different. Like it opened almost exactly like Goblin's build, and then he slowed it down a little bit and added a bunch of sentries. So it wasn't quite as sharp, but it did have a few force fields in there. The thing is, soO read what was going on pretty quickly. Those gases were late for a fake, right? He saw the Twilight, he saw Immortals, he saw no sentries. That's a lot of information for soO, and he did not take his finger off the R button. He made a lot of roaches there. Very well executed defense by soO.
That R button's a different color on his keyboard, Artosis.
It's
the paint
worn
is
off.
worn off. There's no letter there. All the other letters are there, and there's one mystery button. Turbo Cruise 84. I actually would not be surprised if this is another rush here from Classic. Maybe even from soO, I don't know. Classic seems to want to just take the initiation right away. Keep in mind, Classic doing a really good job of just sort of prepping in this matchup we've seen. Even though that rush didn't work, I mean, the ideas were certainly there. I wonder what he's going to do on this map. Do you think we're going to see a standard game from these two?
I think that this game could actually go longer than the other games. I think it's hard to attack through those green slowing fields into a defensively positioned player.
All right, game 3's ready. Classic for soO. Let's go.
Oh. Okay.
Makers Classic.
This is going to end too quickly.
This is going to be
Listen,
fast.
guys, when this series is done, tell them to stay in their booths, and we're going to make them play Archon mode a couple times on the ladders.
Yeah.
Chivo, soO.
So, I mean, I think that this will be a cannon rush, but I don't know for sure. The gateway and pylon on top of the ramp kind of point towards that. So my guess is that this will be the cannon rush, like Haas's cannon rush, that goes into Immortals and shield batteries. We'll see. He'll have to throw it on the forge pretty soon. Excuse me, if that is to be the case. Yeah, there it is. So that should be what we're looking at here.
Congratulations on your wedding.
Whoa, excellent. Yes, GSL is a must-do. Thank you for coming down. Congrats.
Oh, wow. Pylon right up there.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny. This is like...
soO already knows something is up.
This is... So if you want to talk about build orders, you know, putting the pylon in the main to cannon, that's like what cavemen were doing. Like they were, you know... This is from a long,
Don't
long
make
time.
fun of Huck. No.
This is like the original StarCraft Pros build. He didn't see it. He didn't see it. Oh! Look at this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is like before humans had invented fire, this is like the build they were doing.
Oh my God, it's so dirty. See, prepped builds are all about aggression, man. soO is just, oh my God, look at that. Now he sees that there's something
the thing
there.
about Classic is he found this build on cave paintings, Artosis.
Yeah.
He's like, what are they trying to show me here? I see a pylon over here made with dirt and cow dung.
Yeah.
And I believe that this over here is with blood, with Zerg blood, is cannons warping in. Dude. Okay, so this is so great because
Five spines.
The spawning pool, by happenstance, is actually adjacent to where the cannon's warping in. The robos started. The hatchery in the main and the hatchery in the natural are basically cut off from each other because of the placement of the cannons.
Did you see this, by the way? Look at this clutch play from Classic. He sees how many spines are being made with this second probe, and he canceled the robo to build more batteries and cannons.
Yeah.
Realizing that soO is almost all in with the spines. So all he has to do is stop him. Now look at this, he's trying to block them from burrowing, and he actually slows them quite a bit. Look at that one that gets way out of position. Oh my God.
Great blocking there with the probes.
Oh, chills. This is so
Robo
dirty.
starts.
It's
He's
so
decided
good.
he can close this one out. I don't know if this game's going to last long enough for that Robo to finish, though, Artosis.
No, he's killing absolutely everything here. These spines never had a chance. What's it? I mean,
GG.
yeah.
All right, what time is it? Let me check my phone. All right, so we've been live for 30 minutes. Literally exactly 30 minutes.
2-1 right now in Classic's favor. What just wild. Seeing him put that pylon up there, and then the second probe comes for the low ground. Just wow. Wow. So, Classic just pulling out all the stops here. Gosh, he just wants to win GSL so bad, doesn't he?
He does.
Kind of pathetic, don't you think, Tasteless?
Dude, funny that he used that strat specifically. Again, the original, like, we're talking 1998 StarCraft cheese. You're like, wait a minute, I can make a pylon in his main. And
Maybe he doesn't scout it.
Maybe he won't scout it. I'm sure he's probably looking for where my base is. When in fact, it's not really important, because if you survive against a cannon rush, you're probably going to win. Well, I guess back then it would. I don't know about now with players like Classic, but you get what I'm saying. And then he actually, it was so beautiful how he canceled the Robo, because he thought, okay, like as you were saying, there's too many spines here. This is not, he might actually hold this, and therefore I don't want to overinvest in this rush. And then he body blocks, or building blocks, I guess you call it in this case, the spines from actually burrowing, gets the, and then because it's going to work, he goes, okay, I'll make the Robo again. But otherwise, I had that, if he predicted correctly that the Zerg was going to hold that, we would have had a different game, which he might have won anyways. We're going to a break. Sorry you didn't get to talk at all. We'll be right back.
Take all my cares away. You can move mountains. I don't have to be afraid for you. I know you are guiding. All things are possible. You are guiding. None can replace. Trust in every step I take for you. I know I got it. All things are possible. You are got it. Now can replace Jesus, lover of my soul. You never let me go. You never let me go. sure to never do what you want to. What do you want to do? Oh, I wanna stay right here, chilling with my friends for another year. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life. Oh, come on, turn your hate into poetry, pain into power, enemies to friends, and your minutes into hours. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life, for the good life. One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on a lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true stock trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight drop in the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A bomb race sky high. Check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one art, one shot. Now the future is yours. Go. Yeah. It's one art, one shot. Now the future is yours. Go. It's one art, one shot. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the color, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. See, I was so go for the goal. It's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah. It's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Round of 8. (2019) Mountain Dew GSL Season 2. Codex. Renaissance.
What's up, everybody? We're back here at the GSL, and I mean, this has gone so fast. We were mentioning it earlier. We just went through 3 StarCraft 2 games, as well as the intro, the in-between camera shots of the studio, and we went to commercial. That took a total of 30 minutes. That's how fast Classic Pursue has been.
Well, Classic's just going all in every single game so far.
I'm hoping we're going to slow down here, Artosis. I'm getting older.
New Repugnancy and Thunderbird? Maybe Thunderbird, man. We could see a longer game there. New Repugnancy, I'm not as sure on.
Every game, by the way, Classic is the initiator.
Yes.
Classic is executing a kill attack. And one game soO survives, the other 2 not so far. And I got to say, I think soO looks a little bit shocked this is even going this fast.
Yeah. Well, even the game survived, to be honest. I felt like Classic butchered his own build. Like when the Overlord came in, he was trying to fake the gases, and he's like, you know what? We'll just do the gases. It did not feel like it was part of the build. If you get sentries for rush, generally it's earlier on, so they have more energy. So it was kind of a weird thing he did there on the boss.
Game 4 is ready. Let's go.
Makers Classic. Chivo, soO.
Oh, man. Huge, loud cheer for soO.
Well, might be the last he hears this season.
But there are nothing but Terrans in the audience. I don't see a single alien.
That's true.
So, I mean, what do you expect? And Zerg, I mean, they're going
Turn around
extinct.
and look, I'm like, oh no, I see a couple aliens down there. They're cloaked though. Dark Templar.
Yeah.
Those empty seats. You think we'd have empty seats on a day like this? You idiot.
There's DTs just sitting in a chair.
Yeah. Those are aliens, right?
Drinking energy drinks. And
Sorry, you don't have detection, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a science vessel. What are you?
You try to sit down in one of those chairs and go, I am so sorry. I just was, wasn't paying attention. I'll go get a seat in the back.
I'll just stand. It's fine. I want to
fine, I'll
stand. Oh, I sat all the way here. I sat all day.
You'll be telling your friends later, I sat on a Dark Templar. It was so embarrassing.
What type of weapon did he have?
What is it called? The one that the, why can I not? Scythe? Yeah. Is that a good weapon at all, a scythe?
If I had a scythe, I could kill you with it for sure. So yeah, I would say it's a good weapon.
I don't know if that's true, Artosis. I think I'd run through a door and you'd bounce off it with that scythe.
I don't
Might
think
be wrong.
I think you'd scream and I would just cut you in half with it. I think that's what would happen. You try to run through
How
the
do you
door,
even
but
attack
my
somebody
scythe
with a
is
scythe?
long. You swing it at him.
Is it supposed to be pointed at him, or does it point away and the blade cuts
You can do
him?
either.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wow. Never
Never
mind. Amazing
But
weapon.
you would. I don't think you'd stab it as often, right? That would be a spear. Okay, if you had a
So
spear,
you're supposed
you'd
to
stab
spin
him.
it like a bow, like Donatello, and then you could do the pointy end.
I mean,
cuts
if
him?
you want to show off, sure.
Yeah.
You're like that kid that tries to use nunchucks and hits himself in the head with them. Me tastes. I just slash it down once, cut you in half.
Yeah. Robo, by the way.
No big surprise there.
Yep. In line with kind of the theme here for Classic versus soO. Classic going for very aggressive attacks.
Yeah.
Does not want to go into any late game here. Does not want to let soO do whatever he's practiced here. It's all going to be up to whether or not soO can, absorb the blows that Classic is trying to deal and then come out on top.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be one blow, but interesting. He like blocked the drone and soO took the third over there. I almost feel like you'd prefer them take the other third because then you're attacking down a hill instead of up a hill. But what do I know? All right, so the Prism is on the way, making a sentry right now. Obviously wants to clear this Overlord ASAP. Another Overlord getting ready for that scout. Very nice scout pattern we're looking at from him. Gonna try to sneak up with it, I think. Oh my god, it's double Stargate.
Very cute.
Okay, so hold on. The Robo was on the left-hand side in the main, right?
Yes. It's like
okay, so he was looking for it to get scouted. This is
that too obvious of a play? Is it just, to put it that far out?
But he didn't even see it.
So then he sent the,
Oh, well, he saw the Prism, so whatever. I should shut up.
Right.
Anyways.
But I was wondering if he sends the Prism down there to... He's like, all right, look, see, I got a Robo.
Well, it's very normal to use the Prism to clear the Overlord, but yeah, look at this scout pattern. This scout pattern will probably win soO the game, to be honest.
I think so.
This build isn't really that good.
No, he turns around.
Oh my god. Well, he sees gases, and now the fact that he didn't go all the way, but he saw the gases, probably means that he'll prepare heavily for the rush thinking it's going to be sentry heavy. So that's not a good thing for soO.
That's right. Now, he's pulling the Phoenix's Classicus right now because the Stargates are hidden. So the idea is that since this is scouted, and in fact is not scouted, excuse me, and then the fact that soO tries to creep in and only sees the double gases, so in some ways the scouting he's done has actually hurt him.
Whoa! Oh, I can't even believe he did that.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's almost like his Warp Prism was
was
picked up by another Warp Prism at distance.
If I was his mother, I'd yell at him for that. Like, seriously? Like, no, nothing happened, Mom. I'm like, listen, you took a stupid risk. Is one Adept worth your Prism's life?
And then you should say, and also don't call me Mom.
No, I'd be fine with him calling me Mom.
Oh, speaking of which, I just spilled my drink. All right, moving on.
Oh my God, tasteless.
There goes
okay, so
my
he now
Mountain Dew.
scouts it. Okay, so this is going to be hard for him. It's a pretty heavy build order advantage right now for Classic. I think it's still somewhat playable. You're going to have to make a bunch of spores. And just to mention, to give proper props, this is actually Heroes build. This is just a variation on Heroes build that he used against Scarlet in Season 1 of this year. But very, very tricky. You make them go roaches, basically. You make it seem like there's going to be a very aggressive Immortal push, and then you make a bunch of Phoenixes because they're good.
Okay, we see those Phoenixes coming here now. Really good control here by Classic, just pulling the weakened Phoenix away, the one that has no shields. So suffering no losses there. Two more are going to join in with the fleet. And I gotta say, Classic is playing a really, not just beautiful game here, but beautiful series.
Yeah, no, he really is. soO is making the Spire, and I believe that we just flew over that. So Classic should know. The thing is, when you go Spire against this, it's generally for Corruptors, but with all the gates and Immortals being made at home, Corruptors would probably be one of the weaker things that you could make right now. Like, maybe you counter the Phoenixes, but then you have all these Corruptors against an Immortal push.
Yeah.
So maybe you can go Corruptor into Muta. Maybe something like that works.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe. By the way, these Adepts shade in. Even more drone kills coming down now. We're almost at 12. You know, whenever you hide Phoenixes like this and they don't get a good read on it, the amount of damage that they do is just incredible. And when you have a follow-up attack like this, Zerg is just trying to stabilize after taking all the Phoenix abuse, and a lot of times trying to at least get something to stop the Phoenix attack, which most likely is not going to be particularly helpful in a push like this that's coming out.
Yeah, and look, he's at all these Stalkers as well, so that's going to be helpful against the Roaches to a certain degree, and obviously if you try to go Corruptor into Muta, you're going to have a hard time there as well. I love the 3 Spores being moved. He brings up his Queens as well. This is tough. We're throwing down those bios, clearing a bunch of these force fields. The Phoenix is coming over, getting some lifts. Almost all the Spores died, not quite. Even a second Prism coming in.
Okay, nice bios coming down here, but I think Classic so far has taken a really good advantage of escaping down this ramp. Note how far that War Prism is away as well. Drones being pulled here, indicating just how bad things are right now for soO, as a lot of them get picked off.
Yeah.
It's all after that rush.
All these Immortals still alive, still shooting, making it very, very difficult for him. More Roaches are being made, but with 3 Immortals still left over, this seems to be the point of no return.
Seems like it. Ravagers now being morphed in here. They're going to be picked off immediately. Even that last Immortal not being picked off. And, you know, from here I kind of wonder how soO feels. This was such a short series. You know, normally these nights in the round of 8 are actually quite long and dramatic, but gosh, this series, there it is, GG. This series was done in under 50 minutes, Artos. It's 4 StarCraft 2 games.
Yeah, it was definitely very quick. Classic bringing in pure aggression tonight against soO. Planned it well. He had some good builds.
Yeah.
I actually think he messed up game 2 and had a higher % chance to win that if he hadn't changed it, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. He ends up winning 3-1 and knocking soO out. Only 1 Zerg remains.
Well, if there was going to be a Protoss who advanced, it would have been Classic, for sure.
Of course. Like, he's the favorite to win the season. We've been saying that since the second that Mara lost.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be going to an interview now with Classic and see how he's feeling.
다들 결승급 대진이라고 했는데요. 오늘 빠른 진출을 이뤄낸 김도우 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Nice winning against.
네, 이번 시즌 2 첫 번째 4강 진출자가 됐습니다. 먼저 소감부터 들어볼게요.
How are you feeling about tonight's victory against soO?
네, 우선 오늘 준비가 굉장히 잘 돼 있다라고 생각을 해서
I was well prepared.
윤수가 잘하긴 하지만 자신감이
Although
있었는데,
soO played very well.
네, 올라가게 돼서 너무 좋네요.
I'm really glad to
다들
advance to
결승급
semifinals.
대진이라고 생각을 했었는데
Even though this matchup is final matchups,
빌드
how you think about it?
준비하면서 빌드가 되게 잘 나온 것 같아가지고
I think you
그 정도
soO
빌드면 누굴 만나도
well
이길 수
prepared the
있다라는
build-ups.
자신감이 있어서 좀 편하게 온 것 같아요.
I was quite real, but I was well prepared either.
감탄했습니다.
So
공멸
I
팔고
was
사도
pretty
러시, 불멸자,
confident
오린,
with it.
광자포, 러시까지 대부분 이렇게 다 공격적인 빌드로 짜오셨는데 이게 어떤 배경으로 선택을 하신 건가요?
Today's
제가 아무래도
build-ups,
요새
you use
저그전을
quite aggressive builds,
방송 경기로 많이
including
보여드리기도 했고
proxy
빌드에
for
노출이
tennis.
많아서
How do you prepare this?
이제 그 노출된 걸로 심리전을 했거든요. 원래는 운영을 했다면 오늘은 좀 공격적으로도 했고 그냥
I used to play rotation previously, but tonight for tonight I prepared aggressive build-ups against soO for the psychological
CCT나 뭐 수정탑
practice.
위치에서도 아 이거 러시 타이밍 이겼어 했는데 하시더니 또 놀란 건 터보크루즈에서의 광자포 러시. 와 저는 예상도
The SAT
못했어요.
2 you had the all-in build for using immortals, but on SAT
이렇게 마지못해서 선택하셨잖아요. 제가
you
그
use
생각이 나서
proxy for the
놀랐는데
cannons.
맵피터 때부터 심리전을
But when you
시작하신
choose the
거네요.
maps, You say,
항상 맵 비토 때부터 경기 시작이라고
map.
생각을 하고 있기 때문에
I was
너무 또
gonna.
자신만만하게
So-
터보 이러면 또 제 빌드 노출이 될 수도 있어서
If I say
그런 심리적인
Match
부분도 네, 했습니다.
네, 확실히 S급 선수의 차원이 다른 심리전 저희가 확인할
he's
수가
such a
있었습니다. 자, 이렇게
S-class player.
실력부터 심리전에 판짜기까지 탄탄한 모습으로 2연속 4강을
he made
이뤄내는데요.
up to
와,
two
4강 상대
consecutive
조성호 선수와
semifinals.
이신영 선수 두 명
In
중에
the
한
semifinals,
명입니다.
he's gonna
어떤 선수가 내
play
선수로
against
왔으면 좋겠다 원하시나요?
trap or
저는 테란전이 좀 어려운 것 같아가지고 성호가 올라왔으면 좋겠고 그리고 성호가
I think
제가 요새 성호 경기를 많이
I want
봤는데 굉장히
trap to
잘하더라고요.
advance to
성호가
semifinals.
올라올 것 같아요.
I think he's gonna
기세
make it.
좋은 조성호 선수를 원하셨는데요. 자,
He said
김정우
he wants
선수는
to
슈퍼
trap.
토너먼트의 우승 기세를 몰아서 이번 시즌 우승에 도전합니다. 마지막으로 각오
Classic
전해주시죠.
won the super tournament
네,
and
오늘
he's
이렇게
now
응원해
he's
주셔서
making
너무 감사하고
way to finals to GSL season 2. What are your
옛날에는 결승
determinations?
진출이 정말 멀고도 멀게
Previously,
느껴졌는데
I thought that
요새는
making the
정말
finals is
열심히
really
하면 할 수
difficult, but
있다라는
in recent
자신감이
days, I
있어가지고
feel really easy
4강전
to
준비 잘해서
make to the finals.
2연속 결승 갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Now,
네, 다시
from now,
한번
I'm
진출
gonna
축하드립니다.
well
네,
prepare
감사합니다.
for the way to
네,
finals.
이렇게 2연속 4강에
And I
오른
gotta make
김도우
it
선수
to
만나봤고요.
consecutive
계속해서 8강 이벤트
All right,
안내해
sick.
드립니다.
Classic. Classic is a murderer.
네, 먼저
Yeah, he really bashed soO there. His preparation was very, very good. soO was basically trying to stop what Classic was doing for the most part. It felt to me like he had a plan for game one, and then after that just plans on stopping normal rushes, right? And it didn't quite work out for him.
No, yeah, I mean he just smashed through so hard. I'm kind of startled actually that we had a series that was I thought it was gonna be a little bit closer. At least you guys who tuned in time got to see the whole thing. We're gonna go to a short break. We come back. Our next best of 5.